Welcome back to the Purpose and Profit Club podcast. I am so excited. Nathan Ruby is back for part 2 of our conversation. We are digging into what I'm calling micro events. This has been a really successful strategy. He's the executive director of Friends of the Children of Haiti, FOTCOH. And we're going to dig into how you've used this strategy in your organization. So welcome back, Nathan.
Thank you. Thank you. It's awesome to be here. Glad to share some time with you.
So you call them CPM events. First, let's level kind of set the foundation, set the stage for what these events are. In my notes, I call them micro events, but I've spent a lot of time in the past several months really talking about how everyone needs to rethink the gala, the time heavy, expense heavy, labor intensive signature event that ends up just dwindling down in profit and creates a lot of burnout for team. So this is the antidote to that, because it does create connection and community with your organization, but also it creates new leads. So it's a lead generation event. So walk us through what it is.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, I'll give you my bias first, because you always have to listen to know somebody's bias when they're talking about anything, really. My bias is I detest events. I would even go so far as to say I hate events with a passion. I don't like the level of detail, and I think that's part of it, because I'm not a detailed person. I'm not even a 30,000 foot person. I'm a 50,000 foot person. And so events are, especially big events, the galas, the golf outings, the whatever other big event you have,
5Ks,
yeah. To me, and again, this is my bias. To me, those are just opportunities to mess up and look bad in front of your constituency. Now, that's not fair. That's not. There's a place for events. It's just not me. It's not me. So, and my other bias is I'm a major gift guy. So my preferred fundraising is either across the board table or across the kitchen table. That is face to face, digging in, finding out what the donor wants to do with their charitable dollars, and figuring out how to mesh our programs, the outputs, the outcomes that we're doing with the donors' charitable intent, and putting them together. That's what I love to do. Okay, so our micro events, and there are micro events, and we call them micro events. These are designed CPM, connection point meeting. That's what we call them. I got to come up with a better name. Connection point meeting sounds a little too.
We're going to workshop it. I'm going to workshop it.
Yeah,
after this.
I mean, who wants to go to a meeting? Nobody wants to go to a meeting. And so a connection point blank, whatever it is we come up with, Christina, and they are designed for very small events, 4 to 5 couples. So if you have the host, typically it's a host couple, me, so that'd be 3, or our board president, or somebody from the organization. So that'd be 3. And then if you have 10 people, 5 couples, that'd be 13 people. That's about max. That's right. That's a big group of people. And a lot so they're designed for small. Some of the best CPMs we've ever had 2 couples come. This is not about numbers. This is about connection. Hence the first word in the name is connection. It is about connecting with these new donors. And this is a tactic for getting into new major gift donors. That's how we use them. So then the kind of the flow of the evening is typically about 45 minutes. Sometimes they could be longer, but we schedule out, agenda out 45 minutes. So typically it's about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes after the hour. Let's say it starts at 7. So typically by 7:10, 7:15, everybody is there. Sometimes not. I just did one in Texas a couple of weeks ago. My wife got to go with me, which was awesome. And we didn't get started till 30 minutes after, because there was one household that was going to be late, but we really, really wanted them there. So we just held everything up. So, but typically by a quarter after, things are ready to go. Sometimes there is a meal Typically not. Typically it is a more of a cheese and cracker and wine thing. It's more hors d'oeuvre than sit down meal.
Yep.
So so if we're starting at 7:15, about 15 minutes for people to kind of get their stuff, get their cheese, and find a place to sit. Then the host does about 5 minutes. This is why this introduces me. This is why this organization is important to me. I love this organization. This is what it's meant to me. And then I do about 10 minutes. I try to keep it really short. Vision, mission, a couple of the programs, what our outcomes are, a couple of stories. I can get that in about 10 minutes. And then we do 10 to 15 minutes of Q&A. And because the organization I lead is in Haiti, we get a lot of questions about Haiti and why is Haiti the way it is. And so, so I've gotten pretty good at weaving. Okay, Haiti is the way it is because of this, and this, and this is what it means for the people we serve. And so I weave that back in. But so 10 to 15 minutes of Q&A, and then that's it. That's the end of the formal, schedule. And then after that is basically how, the one that we did in Texas a couple of weeks ago, the couples all knew each other very well. And so they were, some of them stayed another 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and just talking. And, they were talking about, whatever pickleball and vacations that they're going on and stuff like that. But every single person there came up to me afterwards, and then we talked about what was important to them, their questions. And so, so we had 5 households there. Then the other thing on these is I do the follow-up. The host will send a thank you, thank you for coming. But then and we do not make an ask that night. It is, that is, we do not do that. It's all about being introduced to people.
Why don't you make an ask that night?
Because the ask that I want to make is larger than what somebody would typically be inclined to do when they don't even know who I am.
Got it.
These get major gifts. The more you get into major gifts, the more you'll understand and realize that it's all about the relationship.
Yes.
And if I have a donor who has the capacity to write a $10,000 check 6 months down the road, versus writing a $300 check that night, I will forego the $300 to take the 10,000 6 months down the road 100% of the time. And so the follow-up then is me, and I do that, and I make that up front with the host so that they know they're not on the hook to most of your board members and great volunteers to be willing to do this. About 99.6% of them do not want to fundraise. They do not want to ask their friends for money.
This is a true stat. Yes.
Yeah. And so when I ask them to do this, I know what their biggest fear is. And so I get through it. And then at the end, and they're like, oh, and then I say, I'll do the follow-up. I will do the ask if I think there is an ask to be made. I will do that. You do not have to do that. And you just see the relief. Their shoulders drop. And,
I mean, even the fact that you're saying I was in Texas, you flew in town. You're like, I've got you.
Yes. And I will go back. This particular one, our host did a very good job of inviting people that were the right people. And I will fly halfway around the world for the right people. And that's who that was. And so I flew down there and I'd never even met these people. But it was a board member, but my board member knew them very well. And so the board member invited them, come to our house. This is something that we're passionate about, that have been, invested in for several years. The executive director is coming to town. Come to our house. I want you to meet him. We're not making an ask. We just want you to find out something that we're excited about.
So I was in my notes I have, what does the attendee think that they are attending? And you basically just said it, which is the board member, the host is setting the stage. I care about this organization. I care about this cause. Come over. There, she's even diffusing. It's not. I'm thinking of like the old school Tupperware parties, with which then got. There was a jewelry company that was like the thing. It was like, come to our house and I'm going to sell you a bunch of jewelry and you have to buy jewelry. So they're diffusing
Longa burger baskets.
Yes, you're not going to be asked, but come. This is passionate to me. And I always say to my clients, listen, cat people hang out with cat people. So whatever you're interested in, you know somebody who is also interested in that. So like if I was a board member of a cat rescue, you better believe I know 5 couples who are also like trap and release pros. And this would be true. I would know 5 cat people to invite. Would not be a problem for me. So
and to that point, I am deathly allergic to cats. I am around a cat, my throat literally goes and I can't breathe. That's how allergic I am to cats. So don't invite me to your cat night.
You're not. This is great. You wouldn't come to my connection point meeting for the cat rescue, right?
No.
So it really is. At first, we talked about diffusing and diffusing and setting expectations for the attendees. What the heck am I attending? I love a few things that you said. It's not like, gosh, I'm going to be there for 4 hours and people are going to be like put out. It's a very low lift. It's snacks, charcuterie. It's at somebody's home. It's chill.
It's fun.
Thank you. It's fun. Then you also want to get who should attend, right? So are you coaching your board members or do they intuitively? I mean, I feel like your board members have been so well coached by you now that it probably is intuitive on who should be invited. And it's not just, we need warm bodies in the house.
Correct. And we are, yes, they are. We have a sheet that we use where they understand, what we're looking for. And you're right. Our board is, it is the best board I've ever worked with. They are exceptional.
I want to just echo that you have spent, because I work with the organization closely, you have spent so much time coaching and building the capacity of your board. You have one of the most engaged boards I've seen.
Yeah.
And the fact that you could have board members who are allergic to fundraising be like,
yes,
I'm going to invite people into my home who I know, like, and who are my friends. And I trust you, but they care. So I know why they do it. Like, I know why she was like, yes, come. She cares so deeply about the people you serve in Haiti that she is just a vehicle to that impact. Yeah,
she does. And when she did her 5 minutes where she was talking about the organization, she had to stop 3 times because she was starting to cry.
I believe it.
Yeah. And you can't pay that. You can't buy that. That is so, and that was genuine. And those donors saw that. And so they're like, well, gosh, I know Julie, I respect Julie. And if she is that passionate about this, there must be something here that I need to listen to. And so, but for who we're inviting, this is not about just getting, breathing bodies into the room.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place for that. And every gift is awesome. The $10 gift that comes in the mail, that is just as important as a $50,000 gift that comes in the mail. Both those donors are valuable and are valued by us. But there's different strategies and different tactics for different outcomes. And the CPM strategy is about putting people with capacity, people who can write a, $1,000, $5,000, $50,000, $100,000 check, putting those people in the room and connecting with them on a one-on-one basis and sharing what we do. And one of the pushbacks I get all the time from people that I ask to do this, because our board members are doing this, but I'm also asking some of our key volunteers and key donors to do this as well. And the very first thing you're going to get when you ask somebody to do that is, well, I don't know anybody with that capacity. Happens all the time. And my response to them is, you probably do.
Yep.
There's probably people with capacity to write
Yep.
a substantial check that live across the street from you.
Thank you.
You just don't know
And that
that's
goes
who they
back
are.
to not everyone has the flashy car. I've told the story to my clients before. In my 20s, I used to bartend, and it was so much fun because I bartended at a concert venue, which means I got to see just so many live shows. And one of my favorite coworkers was this other bartender. He was probably 15 years older than me. He had a family. He was like, part of me was like, oh, okay, what's he doing here, right? And he loved the nightlife. He loved the concerts. He loved just working. And I figured he needed the money like I did. This was like my third job, right?
Right. Who would choose to bartend?
One day we decided we should carpool because we lived in the same neighborhood. And so I picked him up at his multi-million-dollar house. And then I quickly learned he had a huge real estate portfolio. And yeah, he sometimes drove a rinky-dink truck, and sometimes he walked to work. And I was like, oh, this is fun for him. This is just an outlet for him. This is just, yeah. So you just cannot wait for the people with the fancy watch in the car and all of that.
One of my biggest donors I ever had, he walked in, we were meeting at Panera, and I had another donor was introducing us, and I had my back to the door, which I hardly ever do. I never sit with my back to the door, but this time my donor had taken the other seat, so I had to sit with my back to the door. And he goes, oh, here he comes. And so I turn around, and there was 3 sets of people coming in the door, husband, wife, 2 kids. I assumed it wasn't him. Guy in a suit, and a guy in shorts, t-shirt, and a flip-flops. And I just assumed it, it's a guy in the suit. So I turn around, I'm talking to my guy, guy comes up, stands by the table. I look up, it's the guy in t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops. One of the biggest donors I ever had. And that is all he wore. He just,
it's like Adam Sandler chic. So yes.
He had enough money that he didn't have to wear anything but shorts and flip flops. So anyway, so you never know. And so what I tell donors is, or, people that are going to do this is pick 4 or 5. If you want 4 or 5 to show up, you're gonna have to invite, 10 or 15 because of people's schedules and stuff like that.
Great point.
But if you want 4 or 5 couple, just go to the people that you respect, go to the people that you think would be the most likely to be excited about what we're doing.
Yeah.
And if we invite them and it turns out that their max gift is a $500 gift, it's okay. It's okay.
Yes.
We're not going to get caught up on that.
Yes.
It's kind of like in the last episode we did, Christina, where we talked about major gifts, and I made the comment, the only bad gift is, or the only bad ask is the one that you don't make. Yep. This is the same thing. If you put 5 people in the room, and if they only can write a $500 check, well, that's $2,500, and that's better than if we didn't do it at all, right?
Yep. And this answers a few things. So your organization is international. Your board members are all over the country.
Yeah.
For similar setup organizations, I would hear a lot of pushback of like, it's so hard to get new donors because we're not local, we're not community based, we're all across the country. And so, okay, well, what do we want to do about that, right? And this is one of the best ways to do it. We don't need the big gala for everybody to fly into one central. We don't need that at all. This is such a low lift, low expense way to bring in new donors into your organization. I just love it. I think there's so much.
And you
there.
look at the you probably know this off the top of my head, and I forget what it is, but what are the second gift rates? They're horrible. You get a new donor. It's
depending on where you look. On the high end, it says 8 out of 10 donors only give once. So churn is big. Churn is big. So
if you have a gala, you put 400 people in the seats, you have 100 people that are not gonna, you have 100 people that's first time they've been there, they came with somebody, so there's 100 new people. Let's just, for easy math, let's say all 100 of them make a gift that year.
Sure.
Or they're on the spot. We know out of those 100, 80 to 90 of them are never going to make another gift again. So you've got maybe you net 10. new donors.
It's
Maybe.
filling a leaky bucket, but in a way that takes you 6 months to fill, because the planning and the catering and the flowers and who's going to MC and what linens are we going to have. I mean, you and I have, this is another thing we have in common. So previous to this, I had an agency, and I remember we did one event. And after that one event, I said, take it off the website. I'm never doing that again. They are a beast. They are a beast.
They are.
And here's what I tell my clients. I will happily attend your event. Like, I'm not anti get together. I love a get together, but I think that for me, the low lift get togethers, there's so much there. There's so much there. The backyard barbecue, the in-person, come have a cocktail and some appetizers, and hear about a meaningful cause that's meaningful to me, and how you could potentially get involved.
And now me as the executive director, I am in personal connection with these people. Now it's obviously early in the process, but it's well, we did CPMs 3 years ago that are now some of our best donors, and so I instead of getting 10 donors who gave a $25 check at an event that I may or may not ever get to talk to. These are people that I have their emails, I have their phone numbers. They've met me. In the case of the Texas thing, they met my wife, and people like her better than they like me. And and so we are in a relationship. And the chance of them sticking, it's not 100%, but I bet it's about 90%.
It's a lot stronger.
Yeah. And so you look at the 5-year, organizations will say, oh, I don't want to spend the money to buy a plane ticket to go to Texas. Well, if you take the 5-year value of those donors, you stretch that out of what it could be, plane ticket's nothing.
Such a good point. The plane ticket's a bargain for the value of that donor to your organization. Yep. And then we also think about the ripple effect. If you bring in 5 major donors from that, the value there, and then they go and host a few of these ultimately. Like, that's how you grow. That's how you do it from your laptop virtually. And I think the other key here is you made it low lift for your host. So they didn't have to do the hard part. You took care of like that hard part, which is the asking and the follow-up. But also that's your zone.
Right. So it's what I do. And if you're the executive director, that's what you do. That's what you get paid to do, because nobody else can do that but you. Even if you have a fundraising person, it's still your job to be doing that. And we make it really easy. We have a draft invitation, and it's amazing. And you come from the communications world, and so it's so hard to look at a blank piece of paper and say, well, how am I going to do this? Versus you have a template, you have this invitation. I know it's amazing how it's like, well, I don't know what to send for an invitation. So I send them that, and they're like marking it all up. And it's like, because it just, they had something to look at, and then their brain clicked, and they made it themselves.
That's so good. Any other final thoughts about these events? How many do you suggest doing a year? Or how are you thinking about them going into next year?
I would start with one. do
Smart.
One.
Okay.
I am for 2000 as we go into 2026. I will probably 15. Is my goal.
That's awesome.
Now we've been doing these.
But you've been rocking and rolling these for a while,
right?
Yes.
And it was not when I brought these up at the board meeting the first time. Said, hey, we're going to be doing these, and I actually have one of my board members is actually a high end fundraiser, major gift fundraiser for a big hospital out in the East Coast, and so I had him do it because he uses this strategy for him too. And so it was a little better received because it was a peer. It was a board member saying, listen, we need to do this. And so that helped. But I still got blank looks from the board table. And like I said earlier, we have a very good board. So, this is a little bit out of the comfort zone for some people. So don't expect it to be like everybody raising their hands and saying, ooh, like Horseshack, pick me first. For those of you that watched Welcome Back, Kotter in the day. Christina's giving me a blank look there. YouTube it. And so what I would do, here's my suggestion, is pick out the most likely person to do this, whether it's a board member or volunteer.
Right.
Seek them out. Don't do it in the middle of a board meeting. Sit down with them. Lay out the strategy. This is what we want to do. This is the impact that I think it's going to make. And I need somebody to lead to do this first. Can you be that person? Will you do that for me? And that's how I would suggest you get it started. And if you need more help and you get stuck, call me. Call Christina. She'll connect us. I'm happy to help you and, kind of just give you some, to your particular situation. Happy to do that.
I think this is such a unused, like untapped strategy for so many organizations. So thank you for taking the time to explain it to us and make it, to me, I'm just like, this is a few hours of work for the board member. This is so much more of a low lift than anything we ask them, and kind of fun.
And it's no work for you, the executive director.
They're just giving you the leads because you already have to. This is part of your job. So now they're giving you the great leads.
And it's not even cold. You're not cold calling. These are people you've already met. You've already experienced.
That's right.
You've already had a glass of wine with them, and you've told your stories, and you know them. These are people now you know. I mean, how easy is that? And
so much easier. Thank you so much. Any final words of wisdom as we wrap up today?
Everything fundraising is about relationship. Whether you're writing a letter or sending a newsletter or doing a social media post or sitting down face to face, it is all about relationship. The deeper the relationship, the bigger the gift is going to be.
Yes. Thank you so much. We will link to your LinkedIn so everyone can connect with you there. Anywhere else you want to shout out before we wrap up?
LinkedIn's great. That's a good place to get me.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next time, Nathan.